Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel, Girl Gone Crypto. I have a special, fun event here that we're doing today. My friends over at Meta Gamma Delta DAO asked me to have this kind of fun panel of the women that recently won their grant that they put out. And so, just for a little bit of background, Meta Gamma Delta is basically an organization that helps to empower female-led projects and entrepreneurs. And so I'm really excited to have all three of you guys on to get to chat about everything that's happening in this crazy world that we call crypto and blockchain. And so maybe just to kick off, let's do a little around the horn, like go around and just say who you are and what you do here in the blockchain industry. So let's see, maybe Judy, let's start with you.
Hi, I'm Judy Mam. I am the co-founder and co-creator of DADA.art. DADA is a platform where people speak to each other through drawings that they make on our own, with our own canvas, with our digital tools. And basically, it's many things. It's like a giant work of art, giant work of collaborative art with people from all over the world having visual conversations. It's also a community. And what we are doing now, and happy also to have won the grant for this, is that we are creating what we call an invisible economy, which is we are going to basically find a new system of remunerating artists that is not based neither on scarcity nor speculation, but it's based on the artist's intrinsic motivations. I can talk more about that.
Who wants to go next?
I can jump in if you want. Yeah, thank you for having us on. It's really awesome. And also big thank you to Meta Gamma Delta. It's really an honor to be getting this grant, and it's incredibly useful. My name's Rachel, and I founded a project called Good Ghosting, which is kind of a silly name. But what we're doing is we're trying to solve the problem of it's incredibly hard to motivate yourself to save. This is something I've lived many, many times. I set myself the goal to save regularly, and I don't always hit it. So luckily in crypto, we can do loads of creative things, and we can build new kind of like financial tools to solve this problem. And we feel our MVP is going to be a saving pool, which is built on top of Aave, and it's going to be like a fixed amount of time. So it will run for like 4 months, and you'll have to put in like 200 or 500 DAI every month. And at the end, we can work out like who was a regular saver, who hit their goals and was awesome, and who maybe didn't. If you didn't, too bad, but you still get your money back. But if you were a regular saver, then you also get, as well as your principal, you get a slice of the interest. So the idea is that statistically, probably some people are going to drop out. So you should get a higher interest rate than if you just save by yourself. And also, importantly, it's going to give you that extra nudge and that kind of incentivization to save. But my background is in kind of development and also in developer relations as well. So it's a little context to me.
Oh, that's so fun. And I mean, especially considering what the average American has $500 in their bank account, like making saving incentivized and gamified. Oh, I love that. That's so useful.
Well, fingers crossed, hopefully.
All right.
Yeah, I guess I'm next. So I'm Camila Russo. I'm a journalist. I've been covering markets for few years for Bloomberg News before going full-time crypto. Right now, I'm dedicated full-time and maybe more than I should, all of my time, to the Defiant, which is a newsletter. It's something that started out as a newsletter in 2019, covering decentralized finance every day, but what has now grown into more of an actual content platform and media company. So besides the newsletter, which has over 10,000 subscribers, it's very followed within DeFi. I also have a podcast, a YouTube channel, and now I'm publishing kind of the articles in the newsletter in kind of my own Defiant website. So, really building this out into what I hope to be will be the most trusted source of information in the intersection of tech and finance. So obviously, the editorial content will continue to be core and focus to the Defiant. But going forward, I'm also building a DeFi data terminal to complement the content side of things. So that's, in part why I'm raising funds. I'm getting grants everywhere because it is very costly. So it was amazing to get the support from Meta Gamma Delta. And I think it's amazing to have this community of badass women in crypto. I think more women need to come into this space. So hopefully we can set a good example.
I love it. This is such a fun group. We have I feel like people from each little segment of the cryptoverse all here together to just chat about all the amazing things that are happening right now. And so one thing that I'd love to hear from you guys, because I think that there's a lot of people that kind of are interested in crypto and maybe standing on the precipice of it. But what was that moment for each of you guys when you decided to really go all in full-time crypto? I'm glad that you mentioned that, Camille, just talking about that. And so what was that moment like for each of you when you were like, this is what I want to do with my time? And whoever wants to jump in from here on out, feel free.
Well, I could start. For us, it was, DADA has been around since 2014, and we're creating this digital art. We have a vast amount of digital art in our archives. I think at this point we have 127,000 drawings, and we were trying to monetize. And we were trying different things. And Beatriz, our creator, who is an artist, went to the Ethereal Summit, one of the Ethereal Summits, maybe several years ago, I don't know, in 2016. And she understood what blockchain could do in terms of digital art, in terms of making it into a digital asset, so that for the first time you could actually own digital art, you could transact it, you could collect it, and that was kind of our eureka moment. We felt that of course it made total sense to tokenize our drawings, but also we felt that blockchain had this incredible potential to completely change the system. The regular art world is very difficult to breach. There's between the gatekeepers and the scarcity and the speculation and the star system, most artists never make it. And we felt that blockchain, with its peer-to-peer stuff, with the decentralization, the fact that you could decentralize your community, was truly a new frontier. And that's where we felt that's where we needed to show that it could be a complete game changer.
I love that.
That's really cool. My journey has been, I'm not going to lie, I got into crypto in 2017 and had the experience that a lot of people do when it's kind of a bull market where you buy something and the price goes up and it's super exciting. But then, the other thing that really kind of kept me was that obviously I had a background in development, started to mess around with smart contracts, remix, and then you kind of just go down the rabbit hole of so much is possible. And it's so exciting in terms of building stuff that's composable. You can build on Aave and you don't need to, have anyone can go and do that. You can kind of stitch all these things together, and it's really exciting to see kind of what the possibilities are there in terms of just opening up, and we're just really at the beginning of these. There's so much more now than there was 3 years ago, but it's still so very early, and we're just seeing these things come into fruition and get more tangible. But it's definitely, the ball is rolling. Super exciting space to be in.
For me was, I think, well, the first time I got into or heard about Bitcoin was back in 2013, when I was in Argentina covering markets in Bloomberg's Buenos Aires office. And so I was obviously, covering traditional markets, bond stocks. And a lot of the coverage was about how Argentines were protecting against inflation. Back then there was 25% inflation. Now it's at 50% inflation. Yeah. There were currency controls where you just, weren't allowed to buy foreign currency like dollars with your pesos. And And so an Argentine colleague who was actually at another office in like Spain, he was like, oh, I'm hearing from friends in Argentina that this thing called Bitcoin is becoming really popular. You should check it out. And so I did, and sorry about my dog. I did check it out, and saw that there was this like really weird like internet money that was independent from central banks and irresponsible governments, and I just thought it was amazing. So I wrote that first story for Bloomberg, and was like always interested in crypto since then. And then fast forward to 2017, I was in Bloomberg's New York office, and I was in this new team, which it was about kind of real-time analysis on market moves, and we were able to kind of blog about whatever was happening in the market. And so I took the chance to start covering crypto again, since like 2017, everything was blowing up, and there was like a lot of interest from Bloomberg readers. So I became like one of the few Bloomberg reporters covering the space day to day. And I think like from covering Argentina, like I had become addicted to that like craziness and volatility. So covering crypto was like even more interesting and fun. So after that, like after like covering crypto in the 2017, 2018 bull and bear market, like I just never left the space. It was just like so fascinating to me. And then pitched to write the book on the history of Ethereum, which I published earlier this year, The Infinite Machine. And then I left Bloomberg to basically to finish my book in the best way possible, because I didn't want to be doing both things at the same time. And and so I think that was kind of, it was like a gradual, like falling gradually into the rabbit hole.
Right, slowly and then quickly, right? That's the where that goes.
Yeah.
So one thing I'm kind of curious to hear about from each of you guys is just like, what is something that you are really excited about right now that you are working on in your business that you're just like stoked to be working on?
Someone else go first.
Yeah, you're good at that.
I can go. Well, like I mentioned, there's this whole new area in the Defiant that we're building from scratch, which is this data terminal focusing on DeFi. And that's super exciting. That, it's super challenging because to me, like my comfort zone is content writing. And it's something that I know that I can do. And I have kind of had my team of contributors, and now a team of like full-time writers, which I lead and edit, and I'm super like fine and comfortable with that. But then I brought on 2 developers to build out this data platform, and I'm so out of my element. Like I don't understand the tools that they're using, like the coding languages, like the even kind of the project management tools that they use are different. So it's been really exciting and interesting to kind of dive into this new world. And it really kind of, this is what to me will make the Defiant really stand out as a media company. I think, the Defiant is already like successful in its own right, just with the content side. But I'm so excited to build out this entirely new area of it. I think, it can really provide a tool that's so lacking to really understand what's going on in DeFi. Because right now, like just for myself to cover DeFi, I need to have like 20 different tabs open because like everything is like split in like different trackers and data platforms. Like nobody's like really doing the job very well. So I really hope to be that one place that you can go to for like reliable data, customizable, like standardized data, like specifically on DeFi. So yeah, super excited about that.
Oh, that's super exciting to hear. I definitely feel like we need more credible, reliable information in the DeFi space, because there's just always so many moving parts and different things happening, and it's hard for people to really know what they can trust. So that's super exciting to to hear more about. So
hey, thank you.
Yeah, I was just going to say that sounds like really handy and definitely something. It is just a minefield keeping up. Like you switch off for like one day and it's a completely different landscape. It's insane.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. But it is, I mean, it's a super exciting space. I mean, with what we're building, we're also like getting to the point where we have something on testnet and we're testing it out and then like building up a small community around this and then getting to like mainnet launch, which is exciting and terrifying at the same time as well. So that's like all of the stuff that goes with that and like kind of company forming, fundraising and stuff. This is kind of having had a background in development and community. These are kind of new areas to me as well. So definitely kind of pushing myself beyond my comfort zone. But I'm so inspired by so many projects, especially in the DeFi space, things like Pull Together, like was a massive inspiration. And I like know they've got this new version. You can create your own pools and super exciting stuff like this. Aave, they're doing amazing stuff. And it's just like, yeah, this definitely need this terminal to keep on top of all of the kind of new stuff coming out. Sure.
Yay.
The newsletter is also a massive help as well. Regular reader of that for sure.
Yeah, what Cami says really resonates with me because I am a writer. Actually, I'm not a developer. And I tell my Beatrice, my partner, I'm like, I never thought I would be signing up to create an economy. Now, like, I'm also a little bit out of my comfort zone because what we're excited about, we spent a year writing this paper and researching this paper that we call the invisible economy, where basically what we're doing is separating the art making from the market and creating a system in which the artists are going to be remunerated community-wise without marketing themselves, without prices, without an overt marketplace. And it has to do with behavioral economics and it has to do with intrinsic motivations, which is why I think like what makes us really be passionate about stuff that we want to do. And so we're really excited because after writing the paper, we are actually putting it into motion with these amazing working groups. And we have token designers and we have economists and we have people who are actually helping us put together this vision. And we are now going to onboard developers to help us with the coding and all of that. So between the developing and the economics, it's really kind of a massive learning curve, but it's also such an exciting place to be.
One thing I want to ask you guys that just kind of came up from this conversation, since all three of you guys mentioned getting out of your comfort zone. One thing that sometimes I think is an interesting dynamic to figure out is like the fear of something, like when should you listen to that versus when should you push through it and be like, okay, this is going to be worth it on the other end. I'm going to push through my comfort zone versus like that kind of internal feeling of like, I don't know, like, I'm just curious, like, what is your kind of like process to work through deciding whether to push through your comfort zone to a new idea or not? I would love to hear more from you guys as three really successful entrepreneurs here in the crypto space.
In my case, I have to say it's really interesting because I am not the entrepreneur myself. I kind of, Beatrice, our founder, has much more experience as an entrepreneur, and she has much more experience also getting out of her comfort zone and leading and all of that. And in my case, I think it has been a really interesting place to put myself in which you do the research, you also trust the vision of the person who is leading, and I think that we make a good team in that sense because I completely follow, trust, and I'm amazed by her vision. And it's about jumping in and making it happen and learning from whatever it is that we are embarking on. So you need to do it. You need to do it because otherwise you really cannot move. But for some people, it's easier than for others. I think entrepreneurs have an easier time jumping out of their comfort zone. And although I am an entrepreneur now, it wasn't my natural state of being.
that makes sense.
But I agree also, like having a great team and a supportive people to work with definitely does make it a lot easier. And kind of being able to kind of know your strengths and weaknesses in that team is an amazing thing. And like we have a great team and good ghosting. It's like something I'm really grateful for. But it's also this kind of weird experience. So you're like, I just have to do this, because if you don't do it, like no one else is going to do it. And I think that kind of, what is it? Perfect is the enemy of done. I really kind of swear by that. And I think that's also good to have in your minds. And yeah, but there's so many new things to do. It's kind of exciting and terrifying.
Yes.
Yeah, I definitely identify with that feeling of like, I just have to do this and just doing it, you know? I think like, I don't know, for me, it's been that case, like, you know, for a long time, just like, starting even like when just out of college, thinking that I could come and study in the US. Like I'm originally from Chile, studied journalism there, and so I think like the first like big step I took was like applying to like journalism schools in the US, then applying to Bloomberg, and then like pitching to write a book, and like in each step it was just like, okay, like I have this like big dream, I'm just gonna go for it. And I think for me it's like one, like rationalizing like, okay, why this is a good idea. So like like right now with like the DeFi terminal, it's a good idea because like I see the market need, I need it myself, I know it can be successful if it's done right. And then it's like, okay, and what's the downside? Well, the downside is that it fails, but maybe you know, if it fails, I have like still some good like data platform in the defined website, you know, whatever. So when the downside isn't like as big as the potential upside, I think that kind of helps me make the move. And yeah, there's just this idea of just like going for it, and yeah, and you figure it out along the way, like what's the worst that can happen, I guess.
And it's kind of fun too, you know, in our case, we really were changing a lot of things, like from the tiniest little details, like who is going to want to draw with other people in a conversation? Well, when you know, you have to try to find out. Or like I remember Beatrice was saying, it needs to be horizontal. It cannot be vertical, when everything was vertical. So we did it horizontal and it made complete sense. So each one of those like decisions that you make, like, I mean, it's always kind of going against what you see out there. But if you know, you trust your instincts and you trust your vision, then actually doing it and confirming that it was right is a great feeling too.
So what advice would you guys have for women that are wanting to come into the space and build? All three of you guys are building incredible projects from the ground up. And so if someone's kind of on the precipice of, you know, like this, they think that this whole industry looks really exciting and they want to jump in, but they're not totally sure where to start. Maybe they have an idea. Like, what advice would you have for someone that's looking to come and build in this space?
I can kick that off if you want. I've got definitely a bit of advice if you're coming from a development point of view and you're thinking about how do I actually build. And, you know, crypto and the development experience has improved a lot in the last, you know, like 5 years. But I would say it's still not quite equivalent to what you would see in kind of the, you know, traditional web. But I would say the flip side of this is it's a lot more open, because most projects have a Discord or an open chat channel that you can jump in, ask those questions. People will be there to kind of help you out. So get involved, ask questions, and it's okay because we're all kind of learning. So you don't need to feel afraid, and you can actually kind of get involved and participate in that. So yeah, ask all the questions and chat to lots of people.
Yeah, what I'm thinking is along the same lines of it. Like on one hand, it might seem scary because it's like strange, and at first it seems like just complicated and hard to understand, like the technical part of it. But on the other hand, like crypto is like open by design. Like there are, I mean, yeah, there are like companies and CEOs, but there's also just like this open community building open source networks. So I think that just makes it easier for outsiders and newcomers to just start and instantly be a part of a community if you're interested. Like nobody, like there aren't as many gatekeepers as in like the traditional side, like traditional industries. So I think that's something to take advantage of, and something that I found really appealing in this space. Like I'm more familiar with the Ethereum community than the Bitcoin community, so I don't know, I can't speak that much about the Bitcoin community, but at least for Ethereum, like I started going to like the different hackathons and conferences, like researching for my book, and it was just amazing to just like see the energy, like people building, like everyone really open to share what they were doing. I never felt like looked down on for like not for being a woman or for not being a developer or for not being technical. Like everyone has always been like super encouraging and supportive and like willing to explain things. So I think that's what I would say to women thinking about getting into the space is that you like, despite what it might look like from the outside, you will find an open and like fun and supportive community. Like they're not like all just like computer geeks, not that don't want to talk to anyone. You know, they you can find kind of nice, fun people.
It's true. I think that is really key because it really feels like a completely different world in a way, because of that openness, because a lot of it is open source, because of the idea also that blockchain is so empowering individuals without the gatekeeping. It really, that reflects on the communities. I agree with you. I'm also familiar with the ETH community, and I mean, you know, this stuff is so complicated that no one is going to look at you funny if you ask, because even people who know, like they really know their stuff well. I mean, we used to all do these panels when we were starting out. We were like one of the original projects that tokenized art. And so we would do all these panels to onboard people, and even engineers and people who knew really well when they were asked to. So how does blockchain work? Everybody would kind of like, oh, please don't let it be one who needs to explain. So it's true that everybody, it's so early in a way that being in an early market or in like this like early thing is one of the most exciting things there is, because people are finding out stuff together. You know, you're really, and so as Cami says, you know, you go out and you ask questions, people are super helpful, and there's really this effervescence that is, I think, very welcoming, and at the same time it's kind of like this wide open space. So they, you know, they should not be afraid. They should take their place and tell what their ideas are, and I'm sure there'll be people who will support them.
100%.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, just a second on that, and like, yeah, just don't be afraid of the jargon, because like it is off-putting, but you do kind of, as you kind of surround yourself by it, kind of over time it kind of starts to make sense. And everyone in this space has been through that journey, and everyone does know it is hard and it is overwhelming. So yeah, just get dug in, really.
You ladies, we could keep going for so long. This has been such a rich conversation. It's been so great just to get to pick all of your brains and hear more about your story and your history and what you guys are building here in the blockchain industry. So I will put links below for all three of you guys and for Meta Gamma Delta, so that everyone watching this, please go check out these ladies, go check out Meta Gamma Delta. But I just want to end on a really quick fun note, because I always love getting to ask people this, and just because I know that we all live and breathe crypto so much, like, what is a hobby or an interest or something that you have outside of the world of crypto? I just think it's always kind of fun to get to learn a little something about everyone. So maybe we could do just a quick around the horn on that.
I write about movies. I love movies. I've been writing film reviews for many years, and I have a blog called on Medium called I've Had It with Hollywood, but also movies are my passion. So that's, and writing as well.
I've got a lockdown special one, which wasn't an interest of mine until this year, but I've really got into board games recently, with the necessity of and I'm like deep into Settlers of Catan. I'm just obsessed with this game. So big fan of that.
I guess, I don't know. Mine, writing, reading, I guess not very surprising. I'm a writer, but yeah, I always need to have a book, and I guess I don't know if it's a hobby, but like what I spend a lot of my little free time is with our new dog that we got early last year, that you have heard. But on weekends, we also recently got a car because of the lockdown. It's like me and my husband, we felt kind of the need to just like get out of the city, because we are in our apartment all day during the week. So on weekends, we've picked up this habit of just like going somewhere outside of New York City and just like being in a forest, in nature, finding a good park for Conga, my dog. And so that's become kind of our activity. Nice.
I love that. Well, one day, ladies, we'll all get to hang out and go for a walk in the forest and play some Settlers of Catan and all hang out together.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
in a real movie theater, not at home.
Exactly. Well, thank you guys so much for your time and for coming on the show. Like I said, I will put the links to all of your social handles and everything below so that people can check you out. So thank you again so much for coming on the show.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for having us.
Bye-bye.